What does that even mean, Bowers Game Corner?
Ahoy there, YouTube! I'm back again today for another game review. Today I'm very excited to be checking out Castles of Mad King Ludwig from BZA Games. This is for 1 to 4 players, ages 13 plus, and it'll take you about 90 minutes to play. And in Castles of Mad King Ludwig, you will be taking control of a guy building a castle for Mad King Ludwig. Hopefully he likes it. Let's open up and see how it works.
Alright, so we're going to take a look at what you're going to get inside of Castles of Mad King Ludwig. So first and foremost, we have our handy-dandy rule booklet, which is just like one super giant piece of paper. But in grand total, it's about 3 double-sided ticket-to-ride size pieces of paper. It's a very well-done rule booklet. It will have you up and running in no time at all. It answers just about every question you're possibly going to have, and I can do that right now, hopefully, because it is a pretty simple game at its heart. So in Castles of Mad King Ludwig, you're going to be playing as a guy who's building a castle for Mad King Ludwig, and apparently he has numerous people building him castles, and then he picks one, and I don't know exactly how it works, but you're going to be building a castle. And you're actually going to be building a castle with real rooms that you are going to be trying to connect to each other to score the most points on the point tracker, which is right over here, and then I will not show it to you anymore. So there's going to be your point tracker. It is a snake track, which I'm not the biggest fan of, but that is your point tracker, and you're going to have these little pill type things to do it. So, let's go over the components, then we'll go into the gameplay. So first and foremost, you're going to have money. They're going to be in increments of 1 and 5,000. They're cardboard. They're perfectly serviceable. Each player is going to get one of these little starting foyers. This is what you're going to start building your castle onto, and you're going to have 3 doors on there. Next, you're going to get a little cheat sheet tile, which is very, very helpful, especially this side once you know how to play the game. You're going to get your board, which you're going to assemble, and this is double-sided, which will accommodate 2, 3, and 4-player games. You're going to get 2 kinds of cards in this game. The first kind are just going to be cards that you're going to draw that are going to symbolize which cards are going to go up to auction, and I'll explain that in a little bit. The next one are going to be victory point cards, which are going to give you various different amounts of points based on what you build. So for instance, if you build all 10 sizes of rooms, because there are 10 sizes of rooms, you're going to get 8 points at the end of the game. So it's a really good card to have. For each of your round rooms, you're going to get 1 point. For each of your blue rooms, which will be a specific kind of room, which we'll get into a minute, that'll score you 3 points. For each of those kinds, 2 points. For each of your hallways, you're going to score points. So there's going to be numerous different ways to score points. It's never going to be the same every game because you're going to have lots of different ways to score points. In addition, there's also going to be what are called King's Favors, which are going to go in these circles right here. And I got a big old stack of them right here. We'll go over a couple of these. These are pretty self-explanatory for the most part. So for instance, whoever has the most of those kinds of rooms at the end of the game is going to score 8 points. Whoever's in second is going to score 4 points. Whoever's in third is going to score 2 points. If there's a tie, so you would add up. So for instance, if 2 people tied, they would split 12 points. That's another kind of room, but I believe that's a square footage symbol. We have a whole bunch of symbols, but they're all pretty self-explanatory. Whoever has the most coins is going to get money at the end. Whoever has the most outdoor areas. But those will change from game to game, because as you can see, there's a large stack of them. So that's something that all players are going to know and be playing towards during the game, and that's why you're going to be affecting the prices. You're going to be changing the prices of the room based on those, potentially. And as you can see down here, we have what are called, I guess you'd call it the auction track. It's more like the market track. So we'll get into how the gameplay works right now, and hopefully it'll make a little bit of sense. So the first person is going to be getting this tile right here. This means you are going to be setting the prices for this particular round. And how this works is, depending on how many players you have, you're going to draw a certain number of cards off this deck right here. So let's just say we're going to have 5 cards out here. So we'd look at these, and then we're going to reveal them. So for instance, that would be a 250. So we'd go ahead and we'd grab one 250 right there, and we flip it over. That's another 250. There's 100. So let's just go ahead and grab these, and I'll set these out. But as you can see, it's pretty self-explanatory what you're going to be grabbing because it's clearly on the card. So we have a 400. We have a 500 right there. And we have another 400, and I think that is all we got. So, so now what's going to happen is that everyone's going to be looking at the tiles, but more importantly, the person that is the first player is going to be looking at the tiles, and they're going to choose the price that they want to set on these tiles. Now let's take a look at some of these tiles so you can see exactly what's going on here. Now, the important things to notice about these are how many victory points they're going to get you and some other stuff. So for instance, this one, as soon as you play it, is going to score you 4 victory points. So you would instantly move yourself up on that point tracker right there, 4 victory points. Now, if you're able to connect it to one of these symboled rooms, which as you can see is right there, you're going to gain an additional 2 victory points. That's great. So potentially if you attach this to one of those, you would score 6 victory points. Now, you also want to pay attention to how many doorways there are. Because in this castle, you're actually going to be connecting things via doorway, like so. And if you can ever complete a room, which means you're able to connect all the doorways to another room, you're going to unlock a special ability for that room. What's a special ability, you ask? Well, that's where your handy-dandy little sheet card is going to come up. So for each of these kind of rooms with the little guitar thing, you're just going to score a flat 5 victory points. So if you're able to complete one of those rooms and block up all the doorways with other rooms, boom, you get 5 points. If you're able to do to an outdoor tile, like this one right here, you're going to score $10,000, which is going to help you buy whatever you want. If you're able to do one of the food rooms, this is one of my personal favorites, you're going to take an extra turn right then and there. So essentially, you might be able to buy 2 things at the auction or do a bunch of other various different cool kind of actions and set yourself up, so to speak. Utility, another one I like a lot. That's going to allow you to draw 2 more of these cards and then keep one of them based on how you're building or how you're planning on building. The corridor, and this one does count right here, is going to allow you to place a free hallway or stairs, which I have not gotten to, and I'll get to them next, but needless to say, they're up here. The living area is going to rescore the completed room's points. So essentially, that means you're going to be able to completely rescore that room, and it might net you quite a good deal of points. You can have a sleep area. This is one of my favorites. How this is going to work is you'll be able to go through an entire stack like this and pick out 0, 1, or 2 of these bad boys and then put it on top of this deck right here. So you're guaranteed that those are going to come out to market next turn, most likely. And the last one, also one of my favorite ones, is the downstairs one. And if you are, because you have to build stairs to get to the basement, but if you can complete 2 basement rooms, then you're going to be able to take any one of these options. On your 4th one, another, any one of those options. On the 6th one, 8th one, so on and so forth. And these really do spice up the game, add a lot of variety and a lot of stuff. So, before we get to the stairs, I do want to show you how this works. So, we go back to this guy. He's going to decide what order these are going to be placed in. So he might say, you know what, I think this is going to be a pretty unpopular room, so we might put it there, and he'd do this. Actually, you know what, if this were the beginning of the game, since no one would have a staircase to get to the basement, he would set this one there for sure. So he'd put that one there, and this one there, and that one there, and that would be his turn. Well, his turn. So now what would happen next is the player to his left would then decide one of 3 actions that you can take on your turn. You can either purchase one of these and then immediately play it on your castle, and when you purchase it, you're actually going to give, oh, missed that one, you're actually going to give the money to the person with the castle. So once every go around the table, you're going to be playing these out there, you're going to be trying to figure out how you can maximize your money income. But people are going to go either buy things and then immediately play it on there and then pay the person with the castle. They can also, for I believe 3,000 coins, go ahead and buy what are called stairs. And these are going to give you a lot more doors if you're running out of doors in your castle. And likewise, this is for the basement and this is for the upstairs. Or it will allow you to buy stairs. And stairs are very, very important if you plan on building a basement. Because if you don't build stairs, you won't be able to go down to the basement. So as you can see, this is where the light side would go, and the basement would go down here, which would allow you to go ahead and purchase this. Now the basement also has another cool ability, because when you build these, this is going to be scoring you points throughout the game. So every time you build one of those, you're going to be scoring victory points. So it's a nice way to score a lot of extra victory points. So your options are buy stairs, buy one of these and immediately play it, or just get a flat $5,000, which is normally not the best option. But you're going to continue to do that until all of these cards run out. Once all those cards run out, you are going to tabulate up your points, which you would have already been mostly done, but then reveal your secret cards, figure out who gets these, and whoever has the most points is going to be the winner of Castles of Mad King Ludwig, and that in a nutshell is how the game is played.
Alrighty then, Castles of Mad King Ludwig from BZA Games, one of my final thoughts. Let's go to the pros, let's go over the cons. First, on the con side, the game's not going to be for everybody, 1 to 4 players, so it has a somewhat limited play count. Also, this game is one of those games that it feels like it's going to be meatier when you first start it, and some people actively complain that they wish there was just a little bit more. Now, I personally didn't have that problem. I actually like the simplicity of the game once you got in there, but some people might not dig it. So if you're the case and you like heavier games, you might want to try before you buy. Also, the solo game mode is good, but it's nothing outstanding. I don't think I would ever revisit it too often. There's not anyone you're really playing against. It's just one of those ones where, like, if you got 49 points, then you're this. 75 points or that. So if you're looking at this as a solo game experience, you definitely try it before you buy it, that sort of thing. The last other con that I have with this game is that some of the symbology is a little bit confusing here and there, and also that when it comes to when you're keeping the score is a little bit annoying because you'll constantly be like, wait, did I add that up? Did I do this? I forgot. You have to be constantly marking it on the board. It's not like Ticket to Ride or something like that, where you can just do it all at the end of the game. You have to make sure you're doing it during the game, and if you're the scorekeeper, you're going to be thinking about so much that sometimes you're going to forget to do that. I was actually kind of guilty about that. One last thing that's a very small nitpick on this game is that I wish instead of just giving you these little tiles, they gave you like a green card or something to symbolize what color you were, because especially when you're a scorekeeper, you know, you're like, oh wait, what color are you? Because you're looking down at their castle and there's like blue and there's gray and there's purple and there's all these colors and yellow on their castle, and then you can't figure out which color they are, but that is a super small nitpick, because let's get to the pros. Castles of Mad King Ludwig is one of my favorite games of 2014. I found myself saying that a lot this year, 2015, as I'm going back and playing all these great games from 2014. 2014 was a spectacular year. But why did I love Castles of Mad King Ludwig? First and foremost, it is a very, very simple game to learn and to teach, and I like that an awful lot. And it says 90 minutes, and it plays really fast. I think that's because it keeps you actively involved. Every turn, you know, you're either going to be buying something or figuring out how you're going to be positioning things on that chart, because you want to make things that people want, you know, just expensive enough that they'll actually pay for it, and not too expensive that you're going to outprice them. Now, one thing I forgot to mention in the middle part is that if no one buys something, it gets that 1,000 chip on it, and that makes things more appealing, and I like that an awful lot. I liked how the basement works. I like how all you're like planning on using those special abilities, and you're like, all right, I'm not going to close up this room until 2 tiles are on the board that I really want to purchase, and then I'll close that room up so I can buy both those tiles at the same time. And I like how all those special abilities kind of stack together. I also like at the end of the game where there can be big swings of points depending on the cards in your hand, or depending on who is building the most and doing the king's favors. I like that an awful lot. I just like this game an awful lot. Great components. The solo, as I mentioned, was fun. 2-player, 3-player, 4-player. I liked all the player counts, even though solo, I wished it was just a smidge better. I'm excited to see what expansions they come out with this game. Adding new room types, adding new rooms, all that sort of stuff. Overall, if you cannot tell, Castles of Mad King Ludwig was definitely a home run for me. This is one that I'm borrowing it right now. I absolutely want to get a copy of this game, because I think I played it 4 or 5 times now, and each time I played it, I just want to keep playing it over and over again. So if it looks like one that might be up your alley, definitely go check this one out. It is Castles of Mad King Ludwig from Bezier Games. But in the comments below, let me know, have you ever stayed in a castle? Do castles interest you? For me personally, I've always wanted to go up to Europe, and I've wanted to like stay in a night in a castle and do that and go on tours in castles, because I think it's a really, really cool idea. But let me know in the comments below, have you ever stayed in a castle, or are you interested by castles? And as always, if you enjoyed this content, please be sure to click on the subscribe button down below, and thanks for your time, YouTube.